start off the discussion between just the two of us, why don't we begin with the poetry? What kind of feelings did it evoke, and which one was your favorite feeling and why? Everything that happens to them. Okay, I'll begin this one too. I was a fan of the poem The Harleys. It really reminded me of just what it was like to be American, if that makes any sense. It was the bouncing consonants and the grimy imagery and the language just helped me envision what exactly the author was going for. I didn't like that poem. I like the old Gardner poem. How it described such a passion, what most of us consider just a hobby. I thought the Gardner poem did a good job with the language. It just really sounds good when... Speaking of language, what did you think of the book written by the paraplegic or quadriplegic or paralyzed guy? The Diving Bell and the Butterfly? I thought it was written beautifully, but I wasn't completely sure there was a theme or anything to be derived from the author. Agreed. But whatever is the point to a memoir? I think it's usually just to enforce that you should enjoy your life while you can. You may be trapped within your own body, like Jean-Dominique Bauby. Really? I lean more towards the existentialist ideas by Albert Camus in The Stranger. That the individual is of a free will, and that they are responsible for determining their own development. I, for the most part, think that a person is completely responsible for everything that happens to them. In a way, that makes sense, but these books are pretty much opposites. The Diving Bell's author has the actual worst luck. He had a massive stroke that paralyzed him and gave him locked-in syndrome. Could you blame that on him? Well, that depends on the cause of the stroke. Blood vein lossage or bleeding is, I think, what causes strokes. If he took care of himself, he would have been in a better place for avoiding that. That's pretty insensitive. You're saying it's his fault for living his life the way he wants to live it. Well, it's probably the truth. Happens to them. What about even Kafka's absurdist ideas in the Metamorphosis? How and or why was it related to Gregor and that he turned into a cockroach? That's irrelevant. Kafka's writings were, like you said, absurdist. And being absurdist, they were absurd. Gregor was turned towards the light when he was transformed into a bug. That the universe not only doesn't care, but that one should embrace what their life brings. Are you calling that absurdist? For him embracing the lack of use of his body? No. Bobby's book is a memoir of his past. One that highlights his life. The book was more geared towards that of a poem, like a memoir. It was the art of language, and the will play a part in life. So what you're saying is that you know what the theme of the book was? I think that the theme of the book was, even if you have messed up, you should reminisce in the good times in life, because there sure has been something. The things you've lived for, even in John Donne's life, he had relationships and he had his communication whenever he was paralyzed. And speaking of which, he died only 7 days after completing his book, which says something about how important it was to him. That he held on to life because he wanted to see his book through. So in order to hit the 7 minutes our teacher prescribed, let's go back over Kafka's 3 stories. What were the ideas behind them, and again, what did they make you think? Well, in the first one we read, The Country Doctor, I was thinking, what the hell is this Kafka guy on, and where can he get some? I was thinking that the point of the was to express his own troubles, the boy beyond help, the one with the injury, of course, which is sort of a conjecture of his time during World War I. It says here in my notes that Kafka wasn't participating in World War I. No, but he was a Jew in Prague during Hitler's regime, which is more than likely influences writing in a way that they're extremely odd and, in most cases, depressing. depressing. What about Sisyphus? We discussed him in class. What was the whole deal with that? Well, he tricked the Greek god into his own closet so that he couldn't die. So he has to push a boulder up a hill to see it, just to see it roll down again, over and over and over. So why doesn't he just refuse to roll the boulder up the hill? I think that's where existentialism comes into play with this one. Why it came up in class, but other than that, I don't think that there's much else in the story that has to do with what we're talking about. Have we discussed Gabriel Marquez and his Chronicle of the Death Foretold? No, but I don't have much to say on it. The book was a bit confusing with the amount of characters and the writing switching from past to present tense all of the time. A lot of it was about ritual and honor. The death of Santiago was much that of a sacrifice/honor killing that no one tried to stop because of the severity of the crime, which took away Angela's virginity, as well as the only way for her to advance in life in a time like that, which is marrying. Yeah, that's what Sparkman said. Oh, might be. I guess I could add that the ironic meaning of Santiago, which translates to saint. True. Which I guess is sort of a foil to himself, who allegedly took Angelina's virginity out of wedlock. What's that? So how about the Epic of Gilgamesh, the themes of friendship and death and adventure? What were your thoughts? Enkidu and Gilgamesh were on some ancient superlords for one. And I hope one day that I have a friend that'll kill a dude named Humbaba with. The epic also gave us an idea of what life was like for women back then. What did you take away from that? Women take roles of not only great wisdom and power, but temptation and ruin as well. I don't really have anything else to add other than that on the topic of women in that story.